Hello, dear English speakers. This podcast is gonna be a little longer because I've covered a lot of topics here in this video. For example, your daily morning routine. Then we have covered some sentences about your pets like dogs, cats, cows, chickens, etc. And besides your pets, we have covered some sentences about the insects that are available around your house, like lizards and many other insects. And besides insects, we have talked about some birds too. And after that, we have covered some commonly used daily life sentences about your garden, okay? I've given the timestamps for all these topics in the video description. So if you are interested to a particular topic, then go to the video description and click on the timestamp. This podcast is gonna be me and you conversation, where I'll ask you a question and you will be answering all my questions, okay? So what's the waiting for? Let's enjoy this conversation and keep answering all my questions. So without further ado, let's get started. Me. What time do you usually wake up every morning? You. I usually wake up around 6:30 in the morning. Me. Do you wake up early naturally or with an alarm clock? You. I mostly wake up with the help of my alarm clock. Me. What kind of alarm clock do you use? Phone or clock? You. I use my smartphone alarm because it's very convenient. Me. Do you set multiple alarms or just one alarm? You. I always set at least 3 alarms to be safe. Me. Do you ever feel like snoozing the alarm repeatedly? You. Yes. I usually hit the snooze button 2 or 3 times. Me. What happens if you keep snoozing too many times? You. If I keep snoozing, I end up being late sometimes. Me. Do you keep your phone near your bed or far away? You. I keep it beside my bed so I can stop it quickly. Me. Do you usually feel fresh immediately after waking up? You. Honestly, I feel very lazy for the first few minutes. Me. What's the very first thing you do after waking up? You. The first thing I do is brush my teeth immediately. Me. What type of toothpaste do you normally use every day? You. I usually use a mint flavored toothpaste for a fresh feeling. Me. How many times do you spend brushing your teeth? You. I usually brush for about 3 to 4 minutes. Me. Do you prefer casual clothes or formal ones in the morning? You. I usually wear casual clothes at home and formal ones for work. Me. What's the first thing you do after dressing up? You. The first thing I do is go to the kitchen for breakfast. Me. Do you make your own breakfast or someone else makes it? You. Usually my mom makes breakfast, but sometimes I prepare it myself. Me. Do you prefer tea or coffee to start your day? You. I usually prefer coffee because it keeps me more active. Me. Do you ever skip your breakfast during busy mornings? You. Yes, sometimes I skip breakfast if I am running too late. Me. How do you feel when you skip your breakfast? You. I feel very awake and hungry before lunchtime. Me. What do you usually talk about while having breakfast? You. We usually talk about the day's plan and some random things. Me. What kind of exercise do you usually do in the morning? You. I usually do light stretching and a few push-ups at home. Me. Do you ever go for a morning walk or run outside? You. Yes. On weekends, I love going for a morning walk in a park. Me. Do you listen to music while exercising in the morning? You. Yes. Listening to music makes my exercise more energetic and fun. Me. Do you prefer exercising alone or with a friend in the morning? You. I usually prefer exercising alone, but sometimes with a friend too. Me. What exact time did you wake up this morning? You. Today I woke up at around 6:45 in the morning. Me. Why did you wake up a little later than usual today? You. Because last night I went to bed very late. Me. What kept you awake so late last night? You. I was finishing some office work and checking my emails. Me. Where do you keep your phone while sleeping? You. I usually keep my phone right next to my pillow. Me. Who usually wakes up first in your family every morning? You. My mother usually wakes up before everyone else in the house. Me. What does your mother usually do after waking up? You. She usually goes straight to the kitchen to make tea. Me. When do you usually go to bed at night? You. I usually go to bed around 11 or sometimes midnight. Me. What happens if you sleep very late at night? You. If I sleep late, I feel very tired in the morning. Me. How do you try to avoid sleeping so late at night? You. I avoid using my phone too much before going to bed. Me. What's the first thought that comes to your mind after waking up? You. The first thought is usually about my plans for the day. Me. What would happen if your alarm didn't ring one morning? You. If my alarm didn't ring, I would probably miss my work. Me. What do you usually do right after stopping your alarm? You. Right after stopping my alarm, I stretch my body a little. Me. Why do you stretch your body before getting out of bed? You. Because stretching makes my body feel more active and awake. Me. How do you motivate yourself to finally get out of bed? You. I remind myself about my tasks and responsibilities for the day. Me. What place do you usually go first after leaving your bed? You. I usually go straight to the bathroom after leaving my bed. Me. What do you usually keep ready in your bathroom for mornings? You. I always keep my toothbrush, toothpaste, and face wash ready there. Me. What kind of soap or face wash do you usually use? You. I usually use a mild face wash that keeps my skin fresh. Me. Who usually buys the bathroom essentials for your home? You. My father usually buys them, but sometimes I buy them too. Me. What's the most depressing part of your bathroom routine? You. The most depressing part is definitely splashing cold water on my face. Me. What kind of shampoo do you usually use for your hair? You. I usually use an anti-dandruff shampoo for keeping my hair clean. Me. How do you usually dry your hair after taking a shower? You. I usually use a towel, but sometimes I also use a hair dryer. Me. Who usually irons your formal clothes for work or school? You. Most of the time my mom irons them, but sometimes I do it myself. Me. Where do you usually keep your clothes ready in the morning? You. I usually keep them on a chair or hang them in a cupboard. Me. After brushing, what's the next thing you usually do? You. I usually wash my face with cold water after brushing. Me. Do you ever take a shower in the morning? You. Yes. I usually take a quick shower before going to work. Me. How do you feel after taking your morning shower? You. After a shower, I feel fresh and ready to start. Me. Do you ever skip your shower if you are in a hurry? You. Sometimes I skip it if I wake up really very late. Me. What do you usually do after finishing your shower? You. After shower, I usually wear my clothes and comb my hair. Me. Do you prepare your clothes the night before or in the morning? You. I usually prepare my clothes at night to save morning time. Me. What do you usually drink with your breakfast every day? You. I usually drink either black tea or a hot cup of coffee. Me. Why do you prefer tea or coffee in the morning? You. Because both of them keep me awake and give me energy. Me. Who do you usually talk with while eating your breakfast? You. I usually talk with my sister about school or daily things. Me. What topics do you usually discuss with your family at breakfast? You. We usually discuss our schedules, schoolwork, and household plans. Me. What exercise do you usually prefer doing in the morning? You. I usually prefer doing yoga and some light stretching exercises. Me. Where do you usually exercise? At home or outside? You. I usually exercise at home because it feels more comfortable. Me. Who usually motivates you to keep exercising regularly? You. My friend usually motivates me by sending workout videos and tips. Me. How long do you usually spend on exercise this morning? You. I usually spend around 20 to 30 minutes exercising daily. Me. What difference do you feel in your body after exercise? You. I feel more energetic, active, and less sleepy after exercising. Me. Where do you usually keep your yoga mat or workout equipment? You. I usually keep my yoga mat in a corner of my bedroom. Me. What was your reaction for the first time when you tried exercising early? You. At first, I felt tired, but later it became refreshing. Me. What type of clothes do you usually wear for exercising? You. I usually wear light t-shirts and comfortable shorts for exercising. Me. Why do you prefer light clothes instead of heavy clothes? You. Because light clothes allow my body to move and breathe easily. Me. What other activities do you sometimes replace with exercise? You. Sometimes I replace exercise with a long morning walk outside. Me. Where do you usually go walking if you decide to walk? You. I usually go to the nearby park for a morning walk. Me. Who do you usually meet during your morning walks? You. I usually meet some neighbors and other people jogging near. Me. Why do you think walking outdoors feels better than indoors? You. Because the fresh air and nature make me feel more alive. Me. How do you decide the duration of your morning walk? You. I usually walk for at least 30 minutes before returning home. Me. What other people's habit do you usually observe while walking? You. I see people doing yoga, stretching, running, or walking their dogs. Me. What do you usually think about while walking alone? You. I usually think about my day's work and future plans. Me. How does the morning weather usually affect your walking routine? You. If it's sunny, I enjoy walking more, but the rain disturbs me. Me. What do you usually eat right after finishing your walk? You. I usually eat some fruits, like bananas or apples after walking. Me. Who usually prepares the fruits or snacks for you? You. Sometimes my mom prepares them, but often I cut them myself. Me. What fruit do you usually prefer in your morning routine? You. I usually prefer bananas because they give me instant energy. Me. What other healthy habits do you usually follow in the morning? You. I usually drink warm lemon water and sometimes meditate for a while. Me. How does drinking lemon water usually make you feel? You. It makes me feel light and keeps my stomach clean. Me. Where do you usually sit when you meditate in the morning? You. I usually sit on my balcony because it has fresh morning air. Me. What do you usually hear around you while meditating? You. I usually hear birds chirping and sometimes vehicle passing on the road. Me. How often do you include meditation in your routine? You. I usually meditate 3 or 4 times a week in the morning. Me. What challenges do you usually face while trying to meditate? You. My main challenge is getting distracted by my phone or thoughts. Me. Why do you think meditation is useful for your mornings? You. Because meditation helps me stay calm and improves my concentration. Me. What's the next thing you usually do after meditation? You. After meditation, I usually prepare my healthy breakfast. Me. What breakfast dish do you usually prepare by yourself? You. I usually prepare scrambled eggs or oats whenever I cook myself. Me. Who usually helps you if you don't know a recipe? You. My mom usually helps me by guiding me step by step. Me. What kitchen tools do you usually use for making breakfast? You. I usually use a frying pan, kettle, and sometimes a toaster. Me. How do you usually feel when you cook your own breakfast? You. I feel proud and satisfied that I prepared something for myself. Me. What breakfast food makes you feel happiest in the morning? You. Pancakes with honey and fruits always make me feel happiest. Me. Who usually joins you when you are eating breakfast on weekends? You. My father usually joins me because he is free on weekends. Me. What activities do you usually plan for weekends after breakfast? You. I usually plan to read books or meet some of my friends. Me. What difference do you notice between weekday and weekend mornings? You. On weekdays, everything feels rushed, but weekends feel slow and peaceful. Me. What things do you usually check before leaving your house? You. I usually check my bag, wallet, keys, and a water bottle. Me. Who usually reminds you if you forget something at home? You. My sister usually reminds me if I forget my phone or keys. Me. What important item have you forgotten most often in the morning? You. I've often forgotten my ID card or office badge. Me. How do you usually feel when you forget something important? You. I usually feel very irritated and upset for the whole day. Me. What kind of shoes do you usually wear to work or school? You. I usually wear black formal shoes for work every weekday. Me. Who usually polishes or cleans your shoes at home? You. Sometimes I clean them myself, but often my father does it. Me. How do you usually travel to work or school every morning? You. I usually travel by bus, but sometimes I use my bike. Me. Who do you usually meet during your travel day to work? You. I usually meet one of my colleagues on the same bus. Me. What do you usually talk about with your colleagues in the morning? You. We usually talk about office work, sports, or sometimes movies. Me. How long does it usually take you to reach your workplace? You. It usually takes around 30 to 40 minutes to reach there. Me. What do you usually do during your travel time in the morning? You. I usually listen to music or sometimes read an ebook. Me. What kind of music do you usually prepare in the morning? You. I usually prepare calm and relaxing songs during my morning travel. Me. Why do you think music is helpful during your morning travel? You. Because music keeps my mood positive and reduces my stress. Me. What books are you currently reading during your morning travel? You. I'm currently reading a self-improvement book about positive habits. Me. Who recommended that book to you in the first place? You. My friend recommended it because he found it very motivating. Me. What do you usually notice while looking outside the bus window? You. I usually notice busy traffic, people rushing, and small shops opening. Me. What food smells do you usually get near the roadside in the morning? You. I usually smell fried snacks and tea being prepared by vendors. Me. What difference do you feel between summer and winter mornings? You. In summer mornings feel bright, but in winter they feel lazy and cold. Me. What's your favorite season for enjoying morning routines? You. My favorite season is spring because mornings feel so fresh and pleasant. Me. What do you usually wear differently in your morning routine during winter? You. I usually wear sweaters and warm socks immediately after waking up. Me. What things do you usually enjoy about summer mornings? You. I usually enjoy the early sunrise and fresh cool breeze. Me. Where do you usually like to sit during summer mornings? You. I usually like to sit outside on a balcony with tea. Me. What extra activities do you sometimes add to your mornings? You. Sometimes I write in my journal or practice spoken English. Me. Why do you think journaling is good for the morning? You. Because journaling clears my mind and gives me positive energy. Me. What things do you usually write about in your morning journal? You. I usually write about my plans, gratitude, and small goals. Me. How do you usually feel after completing your journal writing? You. I usually feel relaxed, clear-headed, and more focused on a day. Me. What other hobbies could you include in your morning routine? You. I could include reading newspapers or practicing meditation every morning. Me. Where do you usually keep your phone during your morning routine? You. I usually keep it on silent mode while eating breakfast. Me. Why do you sometimes avoid using your phone in the morning? You. Because avoiding it helps me stay calm and focus on myself. Me. What advice would you usually give someone with a lazy morning routine? You. I would advise them to start small and wake up gradually earlier. Me. What changes would you like to make in your own morning routine? You. I'd like to add jogging and reduce phone usage in the morning. Me. What goal are you currently working on through your morning routine? You. My current goal is to stay fit and improve my productivity. Me. How do you usually motivate yourself when you feel lazy in the morning? You. I usually remind myself of my long-term goals and responsibilities. Me. What's the best memory you usually recall about your mornings? You. The best memory is enjoying peaceful tea with my family on Sundays. Me. Who inspires you the most to keep a healthy morning routine? You. My father inspires me Because he never misses his early exercise. Me. What is one morning habit you would never wanna change? You. I would never wanna change drinking water immediately after waking up. Me. What message would you usually like to share about morning routines? You. I would say, mornings shape your whole day, so start them positively. Me. How many dogs do you actually have at home? You. I only have one dog, and it's a German Shepherd. Me. Who brought the dog to your home the very first time? You. My brother brought him home when he was just a tiny puppy. Me. How old was the puppy when he first came to you? You. He was about 3 months old when he came to live with us. Me. Was the dog brought from a breeder or gifted by someone? You. My uncle actually gifted the dog to us as a surprise. Me. What breed did you get? And why did you choose that breed? You. He's a German Shepherd because they are strong, protective, and intelligent. Me. What do you like the most about German Shepherds? You. I love their loyalty and a way they protect the family. Me. How do you usually take care of your German Shepherd daily? You. I feed him on time, take him for walks, and keep him clean. Me. Who takes care of him when you are not at home? You. My mom usually looks after him whenever I am away. Me. What kind of food do you usually feed your dog? You. I give him a mix of dog food, rice, chicken, and sometimes vegetables. Me. How many times a day do you feed your dog? You. I feed him 3 times a day, morning, afternoon, and evening. Me. What was his reaction the very first day at your home? You. He was a little nervous, but soon he became playful and curious. Me. Does your dog have any funny habits at home? You. Yes. He always chases his tail and sometimes barks at his own reflection. Me. How did your family react when they first saw the dog? You. Everyone was excited and happy, especially the kids in my house. Me. Did you complete the vaccination process for your German Shepherd? You. Yes. I took him to the vet and finished all the vaccination doses. Me. Why do you think vaccination is important for dogs? You. Vaccination protects dogs from dangerous diseases and keeps them healthy. Me. Which vaccination was the hardest for him and why? You. The rabies vaccine was tough because he cried a little that day. Me. How do you comfort him during or after vaccination? You. I hold him gently, pat his head, and give him treats afterwards. Me. Who usually takes him to the vet for checkups? You. I personally take him to the vet because he listens to me the most. Me. What kind of training did you give your German Shepherd? You. I trained him for basic commands like sit, stay, come, and pets. Me. Does your dog wake you up in the morning or you wake him? You. Most of the time he wakes me up because he needs to poop outside. Me. What does he usually do when he wants to poop outside? You. He scratches at my door and makes a small barking sound. Me. How do you feel when your dog wakes you up like that? You. Honestly, I feel a bit lazy, but then I enjoy the morning walk with him. Me. What kind of outdoor activities do you enjoy with your dog? You. I take him for camping, kayaking, riding, and even trekking adventures. Me. Which adventure was your favorite with your dog and why? You. Camping was my favorite because he stayed close and kept us safe. Me. How does he behave during camping nights? You. He stays alert all night and barks if he hears strange noises. Me. Do you believe your dog makes your adventure safer? You. Yes, absolutely. He makes me feel like I have a real bodyguard. Me. What kind of gear do you usually carry during your adventure trips? You. I carry a tent, sleeping bag, cooking tools, fishing rods, and basic medicines. Me. How does your German Shepherd help you during your trekking adventures? You. He guides me through the trails and warns me if any danger is near. Me. Have you ever gone fishing with your dog during your trips? You. Yes. I often go fishing in lakes or rivers and he watches me patiently. Me. What do you usually do with the fish you catch outdoors? You. I cook them for lunch or dinner, which saves money during the trips. Me. Do you enjoy fishing more in the rivers, lakes, or the sea? You. I enjoy river fishing more because it feels calm and refreshing. Me. Has your dog ever saved you from a dangerous situation? You. Yes. Once a robber tried to attack me, but my dog saved me. Me. How exactly did your German Shepherd protect you from the robber? You. He barked loudly, chased the robber, and stood guard until people gathered. Me. What was your feeling when the dog saved your life? You. I felt proud, emotional, and grateful. Me. How do you describe your dog after the thrilling incident? You. I always say he's not just a pet, but a true bodyguard of my house. Me. Does your German Shepherd behave well with strangers outside? You. He is polite but always alert, and he doesn't trust strangers easily. Me. How does he react when he meets other dogs outside? You. Sometimes he plays with friendly dogs, but he barks at aggressive ones. Me. How do you control him when he barks at other dogs? You. I hold his leash tightly and command him to stay calm. Me. What impact do these outdoor adventures have on your mental health? You. They reduce my stress, refresh my mind, and make me more active. Me. Does your German Shepherd enjoy riding with you on trips? You. Yes, he loves sitting beside me in a car while traveling. Me. What is his reaction when you come back home after a trip? You. He jumps on me, wags his tail wildly, and licks my face happily. Me. What makes you feel proud of your German Shepherd the most? You. His loyalty, courage, and the way he protects my whole family. Me. How many cats do you actually have in your house? You. I have two cats at home, and they are really adorable. Me. What gender are your cats, male or female? You. One is a female, and the other one is a male. Me. Does your female cat have any kittens? You. Yes, she has three kittens, and they are super cute. Me. How do these kittens usually behave around people? You. They are very friendly and love to jump on people's laps. You. How do you feel when they sit beside you quietly? You. I feel relaxed and peaceful. Me. Do your cats usually sleep with you at night? You. Yes, sometimes they come to my bed and sleep near my feet. Me. How do you manage when all kittens also want to sleep with you? You. I make space on the bed, and it feels like a warm family. Me. Have you taken your cats and kittens for vaccination? You. Yes. I regularly take them to the vet for their vaccinations. Me. Why do you think vaccination is important for cats? You. Vaccination prevents serious diseases and keeps both the cats and family safe. Me. Do your cats ever try to bite or scratch you? You. Sometimes they bite lightly while playing, but it never hurts badly. Me. How do you handle them when they bite or scratch too much? You. I gently scold them, but then I give them toys to play with. Me. What color are your cats and their kittens? Me. One is black, the other is white, and the kittens are mixed colors. Me. Which cat color do you personally like the most? You. I love the black one more because she looks very elegant. Me. Do your cats create any disturbance at home during the night? You. Yes. Sometimes they run around the houses at midnight and make noises. Me. What do you do when they disturb your sleep like that? You. I play with them for a while. Then they finally calm down. Me. How do you bathe your cats and how often? You. I bathe them once a month using cat shampoo and lukewarm water. Me. Do your cat enjoy the bathing process or do they resist? You. They really hate water, so I have to hold them gently. Me. What's your grooming routine for your cats? You. I brush their fur every 2 days and keep their nails trimmed. Me. How do they behave when you try to trim their nails? You. They move a lot, so I distract them with treats to finish the work. Me. What kind of food do you usually give your cats? You. I feed them fish, milk, rice, and sometimes special cat food from the store. Me. How many times a day do your cats eat? You. They eat 4 times a day in small portions. Me. Do your cats recognize you when you return home? You. Yes. They run to the door, meow loudly, and rub against my legs. Me. Do the kittens also join in when the older cats play? You. Yes. The kittens jump around and sometimes even climb the curtains. Me. How do you stop them when they climb the curtains? You. I carefully take them down and distract them with a small toy. Me. Do your cats ever fight with each other? You. Yes. Sometimes they fight for fun, but it never becomes too serious. Me. How do you know when they are fighting or just playing? You. If they make loud noises, it's a fight. But if they are silent, it's a play. Me. Have your cats ever brought something strange back from outside? You. Yes. Once they brought a dead mouse, and it really scared me. Me. How did you react when they brought the mouse inside? You. I quickly removed that and cleaned the area before they played with it. Me. What do your cats usually do when they are not hungry or sleepy? You. They usually walk around the house, explore things, or play with each other. Me. Do you think cats are easier to raise than dogs? You. Yes. I think cats are easier Because they don't need too much training. Me. Do you take your cats to the vet for regular checkups? You. Yes. I take him every few months to make sure they are healthy. Me. What is the funniest thing your kittens have ever done? You. Once they hid inside my shoes, and I couldn't find them for an hour. Me. What makes you love your kids the most? You. Their innocence, playfulness, and the way they make my life brighter. Me. How many cows do you actually own right now? You. I currently own 8 cows. All of them are healthy. Me. Are they mostly male cows or female cows? You. Female cows. Because they produce milk for us. Me. Do your cows have any babies right now? You. Yes. 3 of them recently gave birth to healthy little calves. Me. How do the calves behave around their mothers? You. They always stay close, follow their mothers, and drink milk frequently. Me. How much food do your cows usually need one day? You. Each cow eats around 25 kilograms of grass and some supplements daily. Me. Where do you usually bring raw grass from for your cows? You. I bring grass from nearby fields, and I also plant some myself. Me. Do you plant grass regularly for your cows? You. Yes, I grow grass in small piece of land near my house. Me. How long does it take for the grass to grow? You. It usually takes around 2 to 3 months to grow fully. Me. How do you make sure the cows always get fresh grass? You. I cut the grass every morning. Me. Who usually feeds the cows in your household? You. I usually feed them, but sometimes my father helps me as well. Me. How do you feed them? By hand or with machines? You. Mostly I feed them by hand, but for big amounts I use the cart. Me. Do you also feed your cows any special supplements? You. Yes, I give them mineral mix and oilseed cakes to improve milk quality. Me. How many liters of milk do you usually get from them? You. On average, I get around 60 liters of milk per day from all cows. Me. Who usually takes out the milk from the cows? You. I do the milking myself every morning and evening. Me. Do you collect the milk manually or by machine? You. I still do it manually because I like to keep it natural. Me. Why do you prefer manual milking over machine milking? You. Manual milking feels safer and I can check the cow's health easily. Me. How do you make sure the milk is clean and hygienic? You. I wash my hands properly and clean the others before milking. Me. Do people come to buy the milk or do you deliver it? You. Some neighbors come to my house and sometimes I deliver to shops. Me. Which way is easier for you? Selling at home or the market? You. Selling at home is easier, but the market gives better profits. Me. How much do you usually earn monthly from selling milk? You. I earn around $5,000 every month just from milk. Me. How do you use this income from your cows? You. I use it for family expenses, children's education, and cow food. Me. Do you believe adopting cows is a good source of income? You. Yes, cows are like a blessing because they give milk and manure. Me. How do you use cow dung in your daily life? You. I use cow dung as fertilizer for my flower and vegetable garden. Me. How do you keep your cows healthy throughout the year? You. I give them nutritious food, fresh water, and regular veterinary checkups. Me. What kind of medical care do your cows usually need? You. Vaccination, deworming, and sometimes medicine for minor infections. Me. How do you care for your cows during daytime? You. I let them graze outside, and I keep checking on them regularly. Me. How do you protect your cows during the night? You. I keep them in a safe set with proper light and mosquito nets. Me. Why is mosquito protection important for cows at night? You. Because mosquitoes can spread diseases and make cows uncomfortable. Me. Do you keep your cows tied or let them roam freely? You. At night I tie them, but in the daytime I let them roam. Me. What do you do when any cow refuses to eat food? You. I check her health and sometimes call a doctor if needed. Me. Do you think cows also have emotional connections with humans? You. Yes, they recognize me and they become happy when I approach them. Me. How do you know when your cows are happy? You. They wag their tails, make soft sounds, and eat their food happily. Me. Do the calves ever play around in a shed? You. Yes, they run, jump, and sometimes even trouble their mothers. Me. How do you separate the calves from the mother cows for milking? You. I tie the calves nearby and let them drink after milking. Me. Do you ever face difficulty while milking the cows? You. Yes, sometimes they move their legs too much and spill the milk. Me. How do you control the cows when they move during milking? You. I gently tie their legs and calm them with soft pats. Me. What do you usually do with excess milk that you cannot sell? You. I make curd, butter, and ghee, which I also sell sometimes. Me. What's the main disadvantage of keeping cows in your view? You. They need constant care, and sometimes veterinary expenses are high. Me. Do you think taking care of cows is harder than pets like cats or dogs? You. Yes, cows are bigger and need more space. Me. Do you take help from workers for managing your cows? You. Yes, I have two workers who help me with feeding and cleaning. Me. Do you allow your cows to graze outside in open fields? You. Yes, every morning they go out for a few hours to graze. Me. How do you bring them back after grazing time is over? You. I call their names and they slowly return back to the shed. Me. Have you ever lost a cow while grazing outside? You. Once a cow wandered far, but we found her after a few hours. Me. Do you use any special techniques to increase milk production? You. Yes, I give him high protein food and ensure they stay stress free. Me. How do you keep the cow shed clean every day? You. We remove dung regularly, wash the floor, and sprinkle disinfectant. Me. Do your cows ever fall sick due to weather changes? You. Yes, sometimes they get cold or fever during sudden weather changes. Me. Do your neighbors also come to buy milk directly from you? You. Yes, many neighbors prefer pressed milk directly from my cows. Me. Do you think selling milk directly is more profitable than selling to companies? You. Yes, direct selling gives better profit and also builds customer trust. Me. Do you think you will expand your cow farm in the future? You. Yes, I plan to buy more cows and increase milk production. Me. What motivates you to continue cow farming every single day? You. The love for animals and a steady income keep me motivated. Me. How many chickens do you currently have in your poultry farm? You. I have more than 500 chickens in my farm right now. Me. That's a huge number. Is it a big farm or a small one? You. It's a medium-sized farm, but I'm planning to expand it soon. Me. How many eggs do you usually get from your chickens daily? You. On average, I collect around 2000 eggs every single day. Me. That's impressive. How do you sell those eggs? You. Some shopkeepers come directly to my farm, and sometimes I take them to the market myself. Me. What kind of food do you usually feed your chickens? You. I give them grains, corn, and sometimes mixed feed for better growth. Me. Do you follow a fixed routine for feeding them? You. Yes, I feed them early in the morning and again in the evening. Me. What are the main advantages of keeping chickens on a farm? You. The biggest advantage is the steady income from eggs and meat production. Me. Are there any disadvantages or difficulties of raising chickens? You. Yes, sometimes diseases spread quickly, and also predators attack my chickens. Me. What kind of predators usually attack your chickens? You. Snakes, raccoons, and sometimes wild dogs try to enter the farm. Me. How do you protect your chickens from those predators? You. I use strong fencing, set up traps, and sometimes stay awake at night to guard them. Me. Have you ever caught a predator while he was attacking your chickens? You. Yes. Once I caught a snake trying to swallow a small hen. Me. Oh, that sounds scary. What did you do with the snake? You. I killed it immediately because it was too dangerous to keep alive. Me. Do you keep any special equipment for dealing with predators? You. Yes. I have a small gun, traps, and sometimes even use sticks to chase them away. Me. Who helps you in taking care of so many chickens? You. I have 3 workers who help me with feeding, cleaning, and collecting eggs. Me. Do you give salaries to your workers every month? You. Yes, I pay them monthly, and they're happy to work with me. Me. How do you manage cleanliness inside your chicken farm? You. We clean the cages daily and remove the waste, so that diseases don't spread. Me. Do you ever face problems with bad smell from the chicken's waste? You. Yes, sometimes the smell becomes strong, but regular cleaning helps reduce it. Me. Do your chickens recognize you when you go near them? You. Yes, they run towards me because they know I bring food. Me. Do you ever face problems with broken eggs? You. Yes, sometimes chickens step on them, so I need to be careful. Me. How do you store the eggs after collecting them? You. I keep them in clean trays and store them in a cool place before selling. Me. Do you plan to expand your chicken farm in the future? You. Yes. I want to double the number of chickens within 2 years. Me. Do you think raising chickens has helped your family financially? You. Definitely. It has become a strong source of income for us. Me. Do you think raising chickens is better than raising cows? You. Both have their advantages, but chickens need less space and grow faster. Me. How big is your flower and vegetable garden? You. It's spread across a large piece of land behind my house. Me. What kinds of flowers do you usually grow there? You. I grow roses, marigolds, mustard flowers, and a few seasonal blooms. Me. Do you also sell flowers from your garden? You. Yes, I sell roses and marigolds to local shops and earn good money. Me. What vegetables do you usually grow in your garden? You. I grow pumpkins, cabbage, carrots, tomatoes, potatoes, and many others. Me. Do you also grow fruits along with flowers and vegetables? You. Yes. I grow bananas, papayas, lemons, and oranges in one section of the garden. Me. Do you use organic methods for growing your crops? You. Yes. I use cow dung from my cows as fertilizer, so everything is organic. Me. Why do you prefer using cow dung instead of chemicals? You. Because it keeps the soil healthy and the food free from harmful chemicals. Me. How do you water all the plants in your garden? You. I use a drip irrigation system, and sometimes my workers water them manually. Me. Who usually helps you in maintaining the garden? You. I have a few workers who take care of weeding, watering, and harvesting. Me. Do you pay your workers monthly salaries for their help? You. Yes. I pay them every month, and they are very satisfied with their work. Me. Do your workers belong to nearby villages or from other areas? You. Most of them are from nearby villages, so they can come easily every day. Me. Do you ever grant your workers leave when they need it? You. Yes. I always allow them to take leave if they have urgent family matters. Me. Do you sometimes celebrate or party together with your workers? You. Yes. During harvest season, we celebrate with food, music, and lots of fun. Me. Which flower do you personally like the most in your garden? You. I love roses the most because of their beauty and fragrance. Me. Do you ever make garlands or decorations from your flowers? You. Yes. During festivals, we make garlands and sometimes sell them in a market. Me. Which vegetables from your garden do you enjoy eating the most? You. I enjoy fresh tomatoes and carrots the most because they taste so natural. Me. Do you sell your vegetables in the market too? You. Yes, I sell them directly in the market, and people love buying fresh produce. Me. Do you ever keep some vegetables only for your family? You. Yes, I always keep a portion for home use before selling the rest. Me. How long does it usually take for pumpkins to grow? You. Pumpkins usually take around 3 to 4 months to fully ripen. Me. Do you face problems with pests in your garden? You. Yes, sometimes insects attack the plants, but I use natural remedies to control them. Me. What natural remedies do you use against pests? You. I use neem water spray and ash, which are very effective. Me. Do you ever face problems with weeds in your garden? You. Yes, weeds grow very fast, so my workers remove them regularly. Me. Do you earn more from flowers or from vegetables? You. Flowers give me quick money during festivals, but vegetables provide steady income. Me. Do your neighbors also come to buy directly from your garden? You. Yes, many neighbors prefer buying fresh vegetables and flowers directly from me. Me. Do you enjoy spending time in your garden personally? You. Yes, I feel very relaxed and happy while working in a garden. Me. Do you ever face shortage of water for your garden? You. Yes, during summer water becomes scarce, but I use stored water tanks. Me. Do you grow any leafy vegetables? You. Yes, I grow spinach and coriander, and they sell very quickly. Me. Which fruit tree gives you the most harvest every year? You. Banana trees give me the most, because they grow very fast and easily. Me. Do you ever export your flowers or vegetables outside your town? You. Not yet, but I plan to expand and send them to the other cities soon. Me. Do you think gardening helps your mental health too? You. Yes, working in the garden keeps me calm, positive, and stress-free. Me. Have you ever won any awards for your flower garden? You. Yes. Last year, I won a local award for the most beautiful rose garden. Me. Do you also grow any seasonal vegetables? You. Yes. During winter, I grow peas and beans, which taste delicious. Me. Do your cows and chickens benefit from the garden too? You. Yes. Sometimes I feed them vegetable leaves and garden waste. Me. How do you transport your vegetables to the market? You. I use a small truck to carry the baskets of vegetables and flowers. Me. Do you ever face price fluctuations in the market? You. Yes. Sometimes prices drop suddenly, but I still manage by selling in bulk. Me. Which season is your favorite for gardening? You. I love spring the most because all flowers bloom beautifully at the time. Me. Do you believe organic farming gives better results than chemical farming? You. Yes, organic farming may take more effort, but the results are healthier and tastier. Me. Do you plan to expand your flower and vegetable garden in the future? You. Yes, I want to add more fruit trees and build a greenhouse for vegetables. Now part 7. Insects. Me. Do you see any pests inside your house? You. Sometimes I see lizards, cockroaches, and even a mouse or two. Me. Where do lizards usually hide in your home? You. They mostly hide behind cupboards, near the ceiling, or in dark corners. Me. What do you usually do when you see a cockroach? You. I quickly grab a slipper or use insect spray to kill it. Me. Why do you think cockroaches come inside homes? You. Because they are attracted to leftover food, garbage, and damp areas. Me. Do you think lizards are harmful to people? You. Not really. But they look scary and make me uncomfortable. Me. Have you ever seen ants making a long line inside your home? You. Yes, they make a straight line whenever sugar or sweets are left outside. Me. What's the most annoying pest in your opinion? You. For me, it's cockroaches, because they move so fast and fly suddenly. Me. How do you prevent mosquitoes from entering your home? You. I use mosquito nets, repellents, and sometimes close all windows early. Me. Do you see any birds around your house? You. I often see sparrows, pigeons, crows, and sometimes parrots. Me. Where do sparrows usually sit during the day? You. They sit on window grills, electric wires, and small trees near my house. Me. What sound do pigeons usually make in the morning? You. They make a soft cuckoo sound which is quite relaxing. Me. What do you usually feel when you see birds around your home? You. I feel peaceful, close to nature, and more relaxed. So dear friends, these were some most commonly used daily life sentences that we use in our real life. Hope you enjoyed the video, and if you found the video a little bit helpful in improving your English, then hit a like. And if you want more this kind of English learning practice podcast, then subscribe to the channel right now. So, see you soon in the next video with another amazing English learning practice podcast. Till then, thank you, bye bye.